everybody, this is Matthew Movies coming at you with my review of Iron Man, the 2008 movie that started off the Marvel Cinematic Universe and was the beginning of the biggest film franchise in film history to date, financially speaking, and a movie that I feel like is not talked about enough. Now, I realize that there are a lot of people that feel like there is just way too many comic book movies these days, and I can understand that feeling. I don't echo that feeling. I'm a big fan of a lot of the comic book movies that come out. I enjoy them extensively, so I love that there are so many of them coming out, especially when so many of them are really, really entertaining in my view. So there might be a little bit of resentment towards this film because it started off the latest bunch of them. By no means is it the film that started off the superhero trend, but it really kind of rejuvenated it because it started off the biggest entity in the comic book world these days. But I feel like that's a shame because I think this movie is really kind of underrated now. When it came out, I realized it was a critical and commercial darling, and everybody talked about how great it was. I remember having discussions with people talking about how awesome it is, but I very rarely hear it in the discussion of the best comic movies these days, and I think that that is a large portion of the reason for that, I should say, is because of its age, and because there are definitely some flaws in the movie. I don't think this movie is perfect by any means, but what it does right, it does really right. Now there are, like I said, there are a few flaws. Like I would definitely say that the movie's ending is underwhelming. The whole Iron Goliath, Iron Man fight, it just feels very kind of tedious, and I thought it was a pretty crappy ending, to be honest. But then they had the great moment after that at the press conference that kind of allows you to really walk out of the movie feeling like hee, and then the post-credit scene that hinted at what was to come, even though that wasn't the plan at the time. So that those two things do allow you to leave the movie on a bit more of a higher note. But if that fight was the finale, which would be in a lot of movies, they would just kind of go to black after that fight. I do think that would have been kind of leaving the movie on a kind of crappy note, in my personal opinion. And there are some moments that are kind of written poorly. I think the Obadiah Stane character, to a large degree, is kind of cartoonish. I do feel like there is some realism into it because I do feel like there are a lot of people that rise to the top of the business world that are pretty cutthroat, but the way he goes about it seems kind of cartoonish at points. So that's a little bit weak, and that's really, to me, the end of where this movie falls down. But like I said, the stuff it does great, it does really great. I mean, the way that they shot the origin story of Iron Man and how really accurate to the comics it was, changing details as far as the timeline and all that kind of stuff, and kind of updating the world and all that kind of thing. But the realistic and loyal to the spirit of the origin that you saw in the comics. I love that they did that so well. I love the way that they, when he does create the original suit where he comes out and he's just kicking ass. I mean, that whole part is awesome. I love the way that they wrote the character, especially that introduction where he's in the car with a guy and he does this, like that whole thing. That's all great. I think the highlight of this film is when he's trying to figure out the Iron Man suit at home, when he's doing all the experiments with Flight and all that stuff. I think that stuff is all hilarious with the camera and his interacting with that, and the way it keeps trying to put out the fire extinguisher on him and all that kind of stuff. I thought that was very entertaining. The way that you see him once he does take off, the way he's interacting with the Jarvis and all that kind of stuff. The romance with Pepper was very well set up in this film. The interactions between him and Terrence Howard, I thought were great. I mean, I really like Don Cheadle as an actor a lot, and I think he's done a great job in the role subsequently, but I thought Terrence Howard was great. Jon Voight's direction, or not Jon Voight, sorry, Jon Favreau's direction I thought was solid, and then him having the small supporting role I thought was great. I just really think this movie is kind of an unsung hero these days, and I think it's a shame. So those are my thoughts on Iron Man. Let me know in the comments below what you think, if you agree, if you feel like it's underrated, if you feel like it's rated right, whatever. Other than that, please hit that like button, hit that share button. It makes it much more likely that people will discover this video and kind of come and join the conversation, which is something I would absolutely love. Other than that, please hit that notification bell, hit that subscribe button. Brain fart for a second there. Hit that subscribe button. It'll let you know when I put out a new video. You can come and join the conversations, which is something I would just absolutely love because I love talking to people about movies. Other than that, have yourself a good day.